Okay, welcome back. Got another story about Jesus, the best guy ever. So, Jesus was traveling, but he wasn't alone. Walking from town to town with him was crowds of people listening to him, watching him, right? And his disciples, of course. You got crowds, you got the disciples, you got Jesus. Disciples, a little bit closer to Jesus than the crowds. Going with him. They're like, we love what this guy's talking about. Some of them not so much, but the people who were following him loved it. Now, most of the towns had one road that led into it, right through the main gate. People mostly walked or rode on donkeys at that time. So Jesus and his friends were probably kicking up a big cloud of dust as they walked along visiting different towns. And the people of a town could see the dust rising down the road, and they knew lots of people were coming. One day, Jesus, his disciples, and the crowd came to the town of Nain, N-A-I-N, Nain. Pretty sure I'm saying that right. But on this day, people probably didn't notice Jesus and the crowd coming towards the town. It's a little strange. Something else was going on. As Jesus and his followers came up the road to the town gate, another crowd was coming out of the gate. It was a funeral. Probably almost everyone in town was there. And at the front of the crowd coming out, some men were carrying a dead body in a coffin. Beside this body walked a very, very, very sad woman. She was a widow. This meant that her husband had died. But it also meant a lot more than that. So back in Bible times, right, in this specific time period, women did not have jobs outside of their homes. They worked hard inside the home, right, taking care of the kids, cooking, cleaning, that sort of thing. But they could not make money like their husbands outside of the home. That's just how it was. So when a woman did not have a husband or a son or another male relative to take care of her, she was probably going to just starve. You can imagine how upset the widow was, right? Not only, her son had taken care of her after her husband died, and now her son, her only son, was dead. So first her husband, and it's like, dang, okay, but now we rely on my son to help, and now he's dead. She missed her son, whom she loved. Whoa, hello. Just cut that part out. She missed her son, whom she loved dearly, and she also knew that she would not have anyone to care for her now. So we're going to read Luke chapter 7, verse 13 to find out how Jesus reacted to the funeral. So it says, When the Lord saw her, he felt sorry for her. So he said, "Don't cry." All right. So Jesus saw the widow, and he immediately knew what was going on with her. And his heart went out to her. He walked up to her and said, "Don't cry." Why do you think Jesus told her not to cry? It's a little strange. Jesus' words might seem kind of silly in the middle of such a sad time. The widow had lost her only son, and of course she was going to cry. But Jesus probably wanted women to stop crying so she could see what he was going to do next. Jesus walked up to the body, he touched the coffin, and then said, "Young man, I say to you, get up." What do you think happened? Jesus uses those words, probably not using them lightly. Suddenly, the young man sat up and started talking. Jesus helped the young man up and gave him back to his mother. There must have been a whole lot of hugging going on in the mother and son. You can imagine what the funeral crowd must have thought. What do you do at a funeral when everyone is crying and walking to the graveyard, and suddenly there is no body to bury? At this young man's funeral, the crying turned into laughing and praising God. Luke chapter 7, verse 16 and 17 say what the crowds thought. The people were all filled with wonder and praised God. "A great prophet has appeared among us," they said. "God has come to help his people." This news about Jesus spread all through Judea and the whole country. What do you think the people did? They had seen Jesus' great power, and they saw that he had the power to bring dead people back to life. And there must have been a huge party. were these two crowds. And the news of his amazing miracle had an enormous party and were soon big news in every town all around for miles. Everybody was talking about it. So, when Jesus showed compassion to the widow in our story, her whole life changed. Our lives can change too, because of Jesus' love. Jesus loved people so much that he was willing to make a way for us to be part of God's family. Because of that love, we can show compassion to people who are sad and hurting, just like Jesus did. Because he has that power, and we believe in him, and we love him, he gives us that power. Treating people in the way as Jesus did shows them love and compassion. When someone is upset and crying, a very simple way to show compassion is to give that person, like, a tissue. And if you pay attention and pray for that person, you will find lots of other ways to be compassionate, especially if you ask God specifically. He will answer. When we see someone at school is having a bad day or a brother or sister gets hurt, we can use our words and actions to help that person. Treating others with compassion is a great way to thank Jesus for the love and compassion he has shown us, to turn it back around and give it to others. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you next time.